Happy Monday. Mrs. Montgomery here with today's story. Today's story is about a boy who is having a really bad day. And I think we can all relate to that. Have you ever had a day where from the second you wake up in the morning until the moment you fall asleep, it feels like everything has gone wrong, just for you, not for anybody else, just everything's been wrong for you? I think all of us have had a day like that, right? So that is exactly what this book is about. It is written by an author called Judith Viorst and illustrated by Ray Cruz. It's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And a note about the illustrations in this book. The illustrations are drawings and they are all in black and white. And there's no color at all except for the cover. And I know that might sound kind of boring just to have no color, but the illustrator has drawn pictures with such great detail that they're really interesting, and they're actually the opposite of boring. They're really great, and I think you'll like them. So I'll make sure that after I read a page, I'll hold it up so you guys can try to see some of the detail in the book, okay? So here it is, a book about a really bad day. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. And Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. Do you think things are much better in Australia? In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window, too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. I could tell. It was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. Here's the sailboat. Why do you think the teacher likes the picture of the sailboat better than the invisible castle? Does that mean he didn't do the work? He didn't even draw anything, right? At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend, and I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone and lands in Australia. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to go get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy, and then I started crying because of the mud, and Nick said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. No one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes, but then the shoe man said, we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as I could, except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner. I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out. And I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that. Even in Australia. What do you guys think? I hope you like that book. If you've ever heard the book before, I'm wondering if you really liked hearing it again, and maybe this book is new to you. Maybe you've never heard this book before. And if you can relate to this book, and maybe you've had a bad day where it just seems like nothing can go wrong, you can share those with me on our class page if you want any of those stories, okay? I hope you really liked this book. I love this book. It's an old favorite. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I hope you don't have a terrible, horrible day today. I hope today goes great for you. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, Tuesday, for a new story.